But you see, pardon my French, marriage is for men, not for boys. It's true. Because whether you like it or not, you can marry your mom. I generally think that a woman should be in charge of our kitchen. But like you said, there can be exceptions. But even when there are the exceptions, it is with our consent.
Yes, right? Of course.
So if a mother-in-law thinks or feels that she should still continue to feed her son, I think, except to the extent the wife is okay with it, I think it's a bit disrespectful to the wife.
While they are still at this stage where it's not yet an issue, they have to agree on what to do.
You get it?
They have to reach an agreement. It has to be a conversation that they both sit down and have. Because if you don't agree about what to do, whatever happens after you get married, you have to live with it.
And imagine somebody who is saying, okay, well, I'm not going to be all over on that side. I'll be somewhere in the middle. I'll still love my husband. I'll still serve him and do it. Then she now comes to the house thinking, okay, I'll be cooking for one man. I'll be cleaning the house that's just me. And then all of a sudden, maybe there's a brother, senior brother, or some other sister. And then they are expecting
as our wife will serve us.
We'll do these things.
As he's serving our brother.
And they voila. What kind of expectation is that?
Because that's going to be like, oh really? Yeah, so is this what you got me here for? Like, this is what I signed up for.
You needed a domestic.
Marriage is supposed to be about two people, but in many cultures, it feels like a whole community got involved. From unsolicited advice to outright interference, uncles, aunties, and in fact, the entire community believe that their opinion shapes your future. This episode dives into how family voices, whether supportive or suffocating, can influence love, marriage choices, and even your destiny. We'll explore cultural expectations, the fine line between guidance and control, and how couples can reclaim their own narrative while honoring family ties. Welcome to Common Sense for Relationships. My name is Anietie Bature. I am your host, and we are going to have a wonderful discussion today. So I would like to ask you to invite your friends and your loved ones and anyone you know plans to get married one day or is already married, because we are going to delve into this issue and bring up practical tips, practical strategies that will help you win, whether you're single or you are married. Welcome. Okay, so with me in the studio today, we have a wonderful panel. But I'll start first by introducing my co-host, Mr. Kingsley Bature, aka Coach KGB.
Yes. That's me. But usually, when a wife calls you by your full name, there's a problem. As a guy, when you're in the house, and then something is happening, and then they call Mr. Bature. You have to sit up. So when they call Mr. Kingsley Bature, now I'm not sure how I should position, but I know that we are on the show. So
at least I said it nicely with, a lot of joy and excitement. So that should let you know there's nothing at stake. You're not in trouble today on this particular occasion. All right. And joining us to dissect this issue, okay, we have two wonderful married people, even though they are not husband and wife, but that will give us beautiful representation from two families. So right now we have three families represented on set. So you're going to have a good view of how this is done and how different families navigate this issue, okay? So I'll start by introducing Mrs. Anietie Bature.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be here. I'm excited to contribute to this conversation.
You're welcome. And we have, is it barrister?
Yeah, Mr.
Mr.
Larry
Kuforiji. Did I pronounce it well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yay! Awesome.
I pronounced it better.
Okay, so They're here today, and we're going to be delving into this issue. So first, we'll start by welcoming you, our wonderful audience,
Yes.
and everyone who chose to follow us on this channel. We are so happy to have you on board with us, because the more the merrier.
And in that regard, I have to commend all of you that subscribed to our channel this week. We had a lot of you. We have really moved. We have almost in the last quarter almost 700 people.
Last month alone.
Oh wow! Okay, so you guys.
So we're now 4,700 plus. Woo! Strong. Yay.
So we are moving towards the permanent side, and we just say it's because of you, all of you that are joining us from India, where I never go before, but now they watch and here. So from India, from Kenya, from Doha, from everywhere you're watching us from, and of course from our people from
UAE,
from
UK.
UAE, UK. I was going to say our people from Ikora Abasi and Ikora Kene and Eket and Akwa Ibom, yes, Uyo. And then those of you that are with us here, main in Lagos, we celebrate you and say please keep sharing, keep posting, and let us take this show to the permanent site.
Yes, and just in case we did not mention where you're joining us from, please go ahead and put it in the comments. We'd like to know. Just put, I am joining from Cotonou or something. Let's know. It's really our pleasure to welcome you, especially if you're a first-timer. Go ahead and put the hashtag first-timer, and we'll give you a warm CSFR welcome. All right, so let's get into this. First of all, let's unpack the cultural psychology behind why family interference feels normal. I mean, why? Why will anybody think that they can just show up from wherever and try to tell me and my spouse what we should do in our own house when they were not on the altar with us to say, I do? Help me understand this.
Well, don't even go too far. See, listen, it is in this our same culture that they said it is a community
marriage.
It's a community that raises a child. So if a community raises a child, how can the child dare go and marry alone?
Yes.
So if the community is the one raising the child cannot just wake up and go and marry alone. All of us join hands to raise you. Now you become something, and you now feel that you will just go and then you
without the rest of us.
Without the rest of us,
without carrying us along.
Without carrying us along. So that's
and then the part where they say that when you marry someone, you're not just marrying them, you're marrying
the village,
family.
The family, yeah.
Yes. So you can't expect that, it's just me and my husband, full stop. You have to think of your husband's brothers, sisters, parents, cousins, everybody that matters in your husband's life. You have to consider them when you are getting married to your husband. That's the culture. So
that's our Nigerian culture. But should that be the marital culture? Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, and it's good that we have an auntie here and an uncle here. So what do you guys think in terms of perspective, in terms of how it's happening with you? What do you think about it?
Okay, if I were to put my context, I think that there is a place for the family, and primarily most of marriage has to be by the couple. The family role, we can't take it away, because head or tail, we've been oriented in our families, in how we viewed life, how we've approached life. So, and primarily for the ceremony as well, I think family is going to be heavily involved. In fact, as a guy, left to me, I'm just watching my mother-in-law and my wife, on the ceremony. Just run your show. It's their show. I'm just showing up because from here I'm taking over. So I think we can't take away family. I also think at critical events like when you've got children, your most family are going to come in. In fact, as a matter of fact, there is a well-established practice, in this part of, they call it omuwo. The mother-in-law must come and carry a child. And, some grandparents would even joke that this first child is my own. Is the second one that can be yours.
Can be yours.
Yeah.
So there's a place for family, but it's also important to draw the line.
So where do you draw that line?
Yeah.
We'll get there shortly. I'm just thinking of this part where, really, whether you like it or not, family is critical and family is important. So you have to think of the different scenarios where family comes in, right? Even in making you understand the gravity of the fact that you are getting married and that it is not just walking somewhere, sign a document, and off you go. You know, the whole business of gathering the family from both sides makes you realize the gravity of what you're getting into, right? When you have to bring the elders from this side and the elders from the other side, and then the different community groups have to be represented, even when something like the bride price is being paid and stuff, you realize that, okay, we're not joking here, right? It takes a lot, right?
So you see, what you're saying now is what's going in my head is, because we deal with a lot of millennials, Gen Z, we deal with a lot of young people. There's that sense in which most young people think, hey, it's my marriage. It's me, one promising young man, and this young lady that I like. It's our marriage. But it seems like in practice, it's not really my marriage, because I'm going to get married to him. And I'm saying this for the singles. Please, you push your baby witness. I'm going to get married to her, right? But she has already mentioned that for us to get married, you have to talk to one uncle in the village. You have to bring one culture from her side. You have to bring one community from my own side. They have to come and talk bride price, which is culture. They have to talk one ceremony. Do you understand what I'm saying? So
In fact, sometimes even the date is not you that decides it. By the time you say, I want to get married to this person, they say, okay, you want to, okay. The next thing they say, give me the number of this uncle or the number of that senior person in the family. And it's like the conversation is happening over your head. Yeah. Before you know, they're the ones now telling you, okay, this is the date for you people. That's the first place where you're like, hello, I thought we were supposed to choose our dates. Now they're telling you the dates. So you see that really there are parts that are within the control of the family, especially at this period when the union is happening. But after that has happened, you can understand how someone who had to give consent for the marriage to happen will feel like they need to get some degree of buy-in. As in, you need to get their buy-in for certain further decisions that happen in the marriage, right? Because, I mean, they were the ones that said okay to the union. They were the ones that you brought wine to, for instance, to show respect. So they're feeling, hey, you should call me for certain things. So it's possible that the culture itself creates that sense of access, or that sense of I should be entitled, entitled to influence certain things that happen in your family. So now we come to the point where we say, okay, we understand all of that, but how do we draw the lines? How do we create boundaries? And let's start from like immediate family, mother, father, so the parents-in-law and the sisters and brothers-in-law. Let's start from there. What are the ways that we can nurture the relationship while having the right boundaries so that nobody feels like I don't have my marriage, somebody else has the final say, they're running it, I'm just handicapped here or something, or trapped in this
I think I can speak to that because I learned this by experience and I learned it the hard way, right? And it happened after we had our first son. And we had my mom come in. Of course, I needed the help, and then somewhere down the line, my husband's mom came in as well. So we had the two moms in the house and they were interfering with a lot of things. They were interfering with quite a lot. So much so that I didn't have my kitchen to myself anymore.
Oh, sorry.
That's not.
I couldn't decide what the child will wear. I mean, and I'm happy to leave that with you, right? Yes. But to things that bordered around my husband and I making decisions, take for instance, what soup are we cooking today? You have to get everybody's opinion.
That's
right?
community buying.
So, I mean, it was a very tricky situation. It was very tricky. We had to get inside and talk about a lot of things.
That's you and your husband.
I am my husband.
Oh.
We had to get away and talk. In fact, it was so bad. We did see it coming. Nothing prepared us for it, right? Because
singles, when are they here?
On a normal day, these are your parents. My husband talks to his mom. I talk to my mom separately. But when everything misses in one pot, it's an entirely different ball game. It was an entirely different ball game. But we had to make sure that every time we had a united front. Yeah. You know, I feel like the perspective of millennial couples, right, versus people who are more traditional, they're different. Because I would say we're millennial couples, so we're not factoring in a lot of culture. I wasn't thinking about culture.
Okay.
Like I wasn't. Yeah. I know premarital counseling told us about it, but I wasn't thinking about it much.
How many singles actually listen to premarital counseling?
They listen. But listening versus experiencing those are two different ball games.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually want to share one of the first, should I call it misunderstandings that we had. And this was from, call it relatives-in-law. Let's put it like that. Because it wasn't mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, but just some kind of relatives that were around. So by the time we finished the wedding, came back to Lagos, we had to stay on the mainland for a bit, and there was this house that their family
house now.
kept
on the mainland, and there were these aunties that were living in that house, right? They were not aunties, but you know how we call everybody auntie. On this particular occasion, so my husband went to work. I hadn't yet resumed because I was still on vacation. I prepared food. Hey, God. Prepared food, right? And then when my husband came back from work, I served him. One of the aunties came, Annie, baby. So, this is the only food you are giving your husband.
A full grown man like me.
You understand? So, first of all, she's trying to that impression of you don't know your husband, you could not serve him the right quantity of food. And me, I'm trying to explain, no, this is about the quantity that he eats. And, some drama was going to happen about that. Then the next thing, my husband came back one day from work and saw the pot open. Like, I think I had dished food, and I was more interested in serving before coming back to close the pot. And he came and he was just upset about the fact that I did not close the pot. And in my mind, I'm like, excuse me, like, what is the problem with not closing the pot right after serving a meal? It's not as if I'm abandoning the pot open and then going somewhere else. It's just from here to here. He was so... I just couldn't get it. So listen, I had to do that. What is the problem with this pot? It's not as if... Do you understand? Like, I just served... I couldn't get it. Then he now explained, this particular aunties, this cover of pots that you now close. If they should enter this kitchen, right? Your gist will reach the village. Oh my God. Do you understand? And so he was trying to protect, in quotes, my reputation as his pot cover. And that's why, but the way he expressed it now turned to fight. So, I mean, those are some of the issues that can happen when you have third party with you, especially when you're still trying to establish the basis, right? Yeah. So for me, I think what I want to really bring out here is that when you first get married, it's really important to give yourselves as much as possible that space where it's just two of you. At least let him know whether you usually leave the pot open. So that it will not people establish your baseline
exactly. So that's what we call it. We say when you get newly married, for like the first year or so, just give yourself some time. Depending on how young you are, if you are an older couple, they know they give 1 year. Or they just some people want to carry their grandchildren. Yeah. So, but give yourself time to form a baseline, and we call that baseline is you understand how I operate, how she operates without the influence of any third party. Now, if you are Oyibo people, maybe you may not have a lot of this third-party influence we're talking about, but in our culture, this is our Nigerian culture, third party is part of your party. You understand?
And they can put it can cause so much stress, right? And I recall an encounter. You know how you just by mistake, by chance, sit down beside someone in a flight, and you will end up gisting for 8 hours. This lady spent 8 hours gisting me of her trauma, someone I had never met before. And part of the problem was that her husband was, I think he traveled or something, or was doing some kind of course in another country, and she had to live with the sisters and I think the mom or something. It was terrible. So you shouldn't, please protect your union. It is better for that woman to remain where she was until you come back, right? Than for you to go and dump her in your family house, and you are somewhere else.
Especially where the values are divergent.
It can be such a problem. And if you are around, it's so important for two of you to just those first few months, right? It's really, really important, so that you can understand yourselves before you start bringing people in. So that if you won't come back and see maybe the parlor scattered, and you now start blaming your wife or blaming your husband. Meanwhile, it is the other
Third
person
party
who is in the house that scattered it. If you people had a baseline, you would have known that my wife always cleans up before she goes to work.
Yeah.
So somebody coming to do this, it cannot be my wife. And you won't come and start shouting and getting angry with her, only for her to after say it wasn't me, and then you now feel like, oh, sorry. Right?
And to add to what you just said, for me, I mean, even if you take it from scripture, now, pardon if I'm not getting the exact duration correct, but it's generally prescribed that a new groom must stay with the wife or not go to war because they were soldiers
For 1
for
year.
1 year.
Yeah, it's like a sabbatical. Yeah.
Exactly. And the idea always is that you need, so this, what you've pointed out, one is the fact that it has to be the two of you. So I think for every man, and I'll share my experience, I think it's actually a disservice to your wife to bring her into your family home. You know. It is very poor, and I'll say so. I remember when we first got married, so we're all about, oh, we want kids. So yours truly, after the first, I think the 7th month of being on the journey to actively trying to get pregnant, my every cycle came, and my wife saw a cycle. So by the 7th month, I just woke one morning, I was working in the bank and trying to dash off to work, and she just burst out crying. That day throughout, it was like everything I was,
Just over your head.
I did not know when I just, out of a lot of frustration, I just got on the net, fertility clinics, because here was I sitting with a 7-month-old wife who is already aghast as to why she's not pregnant. Anyway, and just to piggyback to this point, I then eventually got the contact. I'm in a popular hospital in Victoria Island. Walked in. At the time, there were only 2 known fertility, professional clinics in Lagos Island. So I went into the hospital, met the doctor. He looked at me, said, you look very young. I said, yeah, well, yes. And we started talking. He had even scheduled me for an appointment. So, but as I got up to leave, he looked at me again. I said, young man, and that's the first time he was using that word. He said, please, can you tell me how long you've been married? I said, well, this is our 7th month. Right there and then, he was talking to the PA who had scheduled the session with me. I said, cancel it. He said that somehow he did not just know how he missed confirming how long I'd been married. That his consultations as to fertility starts after 2 years of persistently trying to consummate. They will give you the rule book. They will help the woman to understand her days and all of whatnot. But that it doesn't even entertain that. Otherwise, it will just collect my money. So that made me understand that there was really something around 2 people trying to bond. Because remember, yourself and your spouse have come from different backgrounds, different contexts.
Yes.
When you have my
Third
sisters,
party.
my brothers, our sisters, you are going to dilute that process where you need. It's like trying to meet water and oil. It's going to have friction. But when all those people are not there, you are, as the Bible describes it, naked and not ashamed. You sort of you weave together better. And then you start to understand, oh, okay, my husband doesn't like this, is how he likes this is how my wife likes this. You are not under pressure, because think about it. If you've got your sisters or your mother in the house,
Pressure.
It's like a cloud. What cloud of witnesses? Abuse cloud.
Yeah, you become an actor.
Everybody's watching.
So
Like, let's see what she's going to do. Is that what she did? Oh, yes, that's what she did. Hey.
She has mind though.
So you are reacting not so much from how you would normally react, but my wife spoke to me, so you look at your mom and she has
I need to be the
a
man.
wink of disapproval. You get
need
it,
to
so
be
I
the
need
man.
be
Try
the
to
man
put your
mode.
foot down.
Exactly. And that is where convolution starts from. So I ideally recommend that even from when you start the ceremonies, you need to let family know that we will be looking at 2 at the minimum. It could be more uninterrupted years of distance relationship. Set it out so that it's not on the day your sister knocks on the door
Then you
with
say,
her
"No, we didn't want you
baggage
to
from
come
the.
on."
You would
No.
have set it out that this is what we've agreed together to do.
Yeah.
So they sort of, they won't take it. Everybody will just accept it at that point in time because
Hopefully.
they would.
No, so I hear the hopefully because I've had real life. I had a client where it was an issue with the they were going to get married, but it was an issue with the wife because he's and that's why I said our culture is a very strong part of family in this part of the world, and I want to go on a wing here, right? To say culture is not always bad, right?
Yeah.
Culture is a preserver of people's way of life. But what we are saying is that we have to find out how much of this culture is influencing my culture, because every marriage is
an internal culture.
Is an internal culture. Is a nation. It's a community within your own home that you have to create, and then you have to preserve the integrity of that nature, that nation, from the influence of external cultures. You understand? So, but you see, when we now and the problem with her, with that client, was she was saying that he's the firstborn. And you know how we take firstborn in our culture. The firstborn is like, if your father is not there, he's the head of the family. And so when you are firstborn and your father is late, the expectation is you are the one taking care of all the siblings and all the so in his house, his siblings come and go and it's not a problem. Now this lady, they are about to get married, and the lady already has a problem. He's saying, what's going to happen? I've told him, get a place for
Your siblings.
Yeah.
But that's not happening. He keeps saying, and the siblings keep saying, oh, I can't find a place yet. They will go and you will come back one day, they will come. And all of those interferences, how do you deal with it? How should a single deal with this thing? Did you have that experience? Is there something you can share to help the singles,
I didn't have that experience, but I can advise. And I think that while they are still at this stage where it's not yet an issue, they have to agree on what to do.
Yeah.
They have to reach an agreement. It has to be a conversation that they both sit down and have. Because if you don't agree about what to do, whatever happens after you get married, you have to live with it.
Absolutely.
Because what you encourage is what it is.
Yeah. And
So,
to add to that, for the fact that you can predict by a 99.99999% chance that the presence of extended
that's
family
100.
will generate friction.
Yes.
It will be foolhardy to wish it away rather than deal with it. So it's better you have the hard conversation before. Like I say again, when you manage expectation, people live with it better than when it becomes a friction.
yeah.
Emotions cloud judgment when the friction starts. So when ahead of time, when the lovey is still going on, when you are still visiting papa and mama on this side and that side, and you start socializing them, this is how we are saying it. We are going to create a 2-year space where when you need to, we will come home for Christmas. Don't worry, we won't be that bad. We will spend 2 or 3 days for Christmas, but that's just going to be it. We wouldn't like a lot of visits, but if you must come, we would like that you come and go the same day. And you say it playfully and nicely and all of that.
Barrister, wait. I have a problem. I have a problem because Barrister, see, my problem is coming from where one lady told me that her fiancé's mom is the controller of the family. So how are you going to tell the fiancé's mom that she cannot come to her son, her first son's
And
house
stay over?
and stay over?
Okay.
It's not. It's not.
So-
you know. So the
I get
context.
it. I get
you
it.
understand? Yeah.
And this is a problem most men have to face. And if I use myself as an example, I was very close to my mom. She's late now.
Oh.
I was very, very close. We were, but you see, pardon my French, marriage is for men, not for boys.
Right? He choked. He choked.
Because whether you like it or not, you can marry your mom. That's incest, right? You are choosing to cleave to another human being. So there's going to be some discomfort. But like I say, which discomfort? Choose your choice.
Choose your discomfort.
Do you choose the discomfort of nicely saying it ahead of time? If you need to even gratiate mama by, okay, once a year we'll send you to London just for shopping. If that's what it takes to give you that misunderstanding,
that peace,
look for it and make the sacrifice. Because trust me, it is impossible that your in-laws will live with you and there will not be friction.
Yeah.
Even if they're
I and
angels.
my husband learned this the hard way, and I think is worth sharing. So in our first year of marriage, in December, we decided to go and spend Christmas with my mom-in-law. Right, I was expecting to be taken care of as per new wife. And that was how my first Christmas was spent, husbandless. So my husband, just like you, is very close with his mom.
Oh,
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, right? But the man is now married and he has wife. And so I kept waiting on Christmas Day. My mother-in-law said, "Oh, let him take me to church." I said, "Okay, not a problem. He will soon come back, right?" I waited 10 o'clock a.m., 12 noon,
It's okay.
1 p.m.,
What's he love?
2. I waited till 4. When my husband got back, he was so tired. He was expecting me to empathize, but
You were fuming.
every girl she's upset. I said, "Babe, do you realize that this is our first Christmas as a
together."
couple?" And then that's when it dawned on him that, oh my God, I've not spent my first Christmas with my wife.
Wow.
You know, so he had to learn it the hard way and take a stance. You know, so a lot of times, some people, the scenario you described, right? It's already having friction. But sometimes people, without intending to cause friction, just by interfering, will cause friction.
Yeah. That's why the space is
Because
very
my
important.
mother-in-law did not mean any harm.
Yes.
When I went to her and said, "Mom,
It's
you took my husband away on our first Christmas," that was when it dawned on her that, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And it was unintended.
It was
Yes.
unintended.
Yes.
And
But
so,
you see, with that unintention, in quotes,
Something
happens
Yes.
that if it wasn't properly managed, you may have become bitter.
Yes.
Especially,
And then
especially if she couldn't go to the mom-in-law to say,
Exactly.
Yeah.
she would not carry bad belly.
So all those things,
don't
little by
dey
little,
cook am.
just keep building. Before you know it, one day,
In fact, what will happen
Then,
next?
like-
What will happen next is that if she didn't resolve, right? By the time the bad belly don't cook, and they get back home. The next time the mom will say she's coming,
you
No.
shut her out.
No.
Yeah,
That's
that's it.
Yeah.
So for me, that's my prescription for any man. I mean, I'm talking to the men.
there's the way you are stressing this man. So they are saying it's not boys.
Marriage is not for the boys. So
Yeah.
you love your sister, we know.
Yeah.
But when you create that gap, what it does for you is that you would have formed because it's not every issue you can conceive straight up.
Yeah.
Things will unfold.
That's
and
so
you
true.
just need that space to form your own rules, reach your alignment. Imagine if you and your wife are having what should be a normal altercation that every couple on the face of the planet has. Who is your sister going to support?
Exactly.
So, and what you don't want also is those people in those periods picking up things that are just normal things that are just you are trying to get to an alignment,
Yes.
and then they go home and start feeling, "Mommy, can you imagine this our sister-in-law? She doesn't even respect brother. She says this, she said," and it will be endless. People have entered cycles of family crisis from those. There are in-laws that will pick some things, hold it and stomach it.
Even when
Then
you
when
have
they
forgiven your spouse, they are still
You have
holding it.
settled within
Yes.
yourself, but where the manifestation will be coming from places that you'll be wondering,
What is going on?
So for me, once it is better, let everybody deal with those ones. The Oyibo couple, they said that we can't come to their house for
Yes.
2.
It's
It
better.
is easier.
Yeah.
Because if you don't let them take, if I can put it that way, the small stick, they're going to take the other one, and the friction becomes more
More intense.
Yeah,
So you just need to.
I'm thinking of other things, right? Just comparing, these days of the whole feminist movement and so on. And imagine somebody who is saying, okay, well, I'm not going to be all over on that side. I'll be somewhere in the middle. I'll still love my husband. I'll still serve him and do. Then she now comes to the house thinking, okay, I'll be cooking for one man. I'll be cleaning the house that's just me. And then all of a sudden, maybe there's a brother, senior brother, or some other sister, and then they are expecting
As
that
our wife.
our wife
We serve us.
will do these things.
As he's
for
serving
her.
our brother.
And
we
days.
serve-
Voila!
What kind of expectation is that?
Because that's going to be like, oh, really? So is this what you brought me here for? Like, this is
that's
what I
full-time
signed up
house
for.
help.
You needed a domestic.
But the thing is,
Full-time
if
maid.
they are sitting with the cultural context of she is our wife and she will serve us, and she's coming with, I'm a feminist, but I love my husband, I will try and serve him. Where are we finding the balance here now? Is that just as you say? Yeah.
So
really,
that means somewhere in there you have to learn how to say no with grace.
yes, yes, and that's the respect factor.
Yeah.
So this is really important. Okay, you have to realize that you can't throw your family members away because you got married. You have to continue to exist with them in peace. So it's now about where is the location of this existence, right? And so you define, okay, I still love you. I still want to communicate with you. In fact, we may even communicate more, but it's not
doesn't
that
have
you
to
will
be in
be
my
right
house.
in my
My
space.
space.
So things like, you now start looking for other options for communication, especially where there was this really close bond. Are we using text messages? Are we using phone calls? How often are we do we set a particular time on the calendar? And the wife respects that to know, okay, right now he's talking to his
siblings.
special siblings and all of that, and I'm not going to disturb. Once in a while she comes in, hey, hi, acts all nice and friendly for a short period, and
then moves on.
stuff like that, to the extent that works for the family. But if it's such that maybe on a lot of fronts they align on values, on a number of things, and you can absorb her into the whole thing and she becomes part of this huge ball of love with the extended family, by all means, yes. But where you need to show this woman or show your spouse that we are one, then you will need to define boundaries. So that, for instance, something wonderful happens to you. Remember that you are married. You can't first go and tell your mother or your brother when you have not told your spouse. Because when they find out that you told them first before, as in you told your extended family first before her, your wife, or him, your husband, it's going to be like, okay, I am not number one in this person's life. I don't have that priority. Because, like it or not, you got married to somebody, and when you did that, you were telling the person you are now number one in my life.
Absolutely.
If you still keep acting like people outside are number one, then there's going to be a problem. Somebody's going to feel unappreciated. Somebody's going to feel taken for granted. Someone is going to feel like
they prioritize.
Yes. And that will breed some more trouble for you that you do not want.
That's very, very, very critical there. While you were talking, another scenario came in my mind, and I'm trying to say, can we speak to people that already have contention and conflict as a result of the good intention of in-laws, right? Aunties, but in this particular case, I just don't want to mention it because it's quite sensitive. And in this particular case, the mother-in-law, right? The lady's mother-in-law is present and has created conflict because of something you mentioned, where she's trying to cook for her son the kind of food her son likes because she says his wife doesn't know how to cook the kind of food that her son likes. And that was it's a big point of conflict.
Why are you looking at me?
Because it's a ladies'
The
case.
laziness in me is coming away. Mommy, cook. I love to taste food.
But she's taking over her kitchen.
So that let me see. I think the problem here is that both of us are quite bored. And I don't know if it is because I noticed that in some other cultures in Nigeria, the kitchen is like
the woman's
like do not come in, do not touch, do not open the pot, do not nobody else. Do you understand? But for us, I think it's a little more
liberal,
lax, right? Like people that we feel we know we trust can come in and do stuff. So, for instance, in my home, oh my goodness, sometimes
cooking.
I don't even know where what is in my kitchen sometimes because when my mom-in-law is around, I just surrender the kitchen to her. And she does.
Baby, they will take you up on this. That means you're not
protecting your territory.
Your domain, exactly.
No, but you see, it's really
your domain. The
for
kitchen.
Instance, I do not need to stress myself to become a specialist in preparing oha soup when my mom-in-law is around. Do you understand?
Why waste that
I do not have a problem.
I think we have the wrong. See, this thing you guys are laughing about.
To be honest, for some people, it could be a very big issue. And I think one of the things that a couple agreeing can do is that you also sort of, make these rules, but you can accommodate some exceptions, but you generally have principles. So, for example, I generally think that a woman should be in charge of
a kitchen.
But like you said, there can be exceptions. But even when there are the exceptions, it is with our consent.
Yes,
right?
Of course.
So if a mother-in-law thinks or feels that she should still continue to feed her son,
exactly.
I think, except to the extent the wife is okay with it, I think it's a bit disrespectful to the wife. And I think that what should normally happen is that the wife should be allowed to play how she wants to play. She might be the type that still wants to take charge of her kitchen, but would occasionally allow mommy to, maybe on a Saturday, go into the kitchen, prepare what you like, and we'll all eat it. But I don't support that a mother should say, I'm cooking for my son. What does that really mean?
So who should confirm?
If she's cooking, she should cook for the house to eat.
So who should
including her daughter-in-law?
I think that there is a salient point that
grandchildren.
you're pulling out, and it's the point of motives, right?
Yes.
It's the intention. It's not, this intention is not just to cook for my son because I want to cook for my son. It's I want to cook for my son because I don't think his wife can cook for him.
Or he's cooking
well.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So
in which case you should go and try to teach or share the tips of how to make that meal.
That's the loving thing to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or you say,
teach
come
the daughter,
come
right?
with me. Let me show you how we do our
Yes.
That's the, but to take over that responsibility, come on.
But on the side of the couple, I think that they have to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And the husband must not see it as, two women are fighting over me and trying to please me.
So that's why I was asking the question, who should engage? Because it's the wife having this engagement and this confrontation.
So in a scenario where the wife does not like that situation, right? It's the husband, though,
Yes.
that has to go and talk to his mother and
Absolutely.
say, hello, my darling mother.
I appreciate
I
you.
appreciate the fact that, in fact, you know that your food is
the main food.
But at this point in my life, there is my wife. And she really wants to have the opportunity to begin to prepare me those kinds of meals that I like and so on. Speak to whatever English that will work.
Absolutely.
Or whichever language, right? And then if it is something that you see that your mom genuinely is concerned about the quality of food you're getting, then you can look for some kind of middle ground. Can you share some of the tips
Your
with
recipes
her?
with her?
Can you share the
Absolutely.
recipes? Can you Yes, and of course your wife has to be on board with that too, because next thing she says, so are you trying to say the mother that is going to teach me how to cook?
Wahala everywhere.
It's really different and this is the beautiful thing about marriage, the uniqueness of each couple's experience, right? Because in my own case, I'm like, God! Like, in fact, sometimes she'll come and say, Annie, should I? I say, mommy, whatever you decide,
it's fine.
I'll be at the dining table.
Sometimes she's in the market, she's like, should I? I say, mommy, I trust your judgment. As simple as that. But as in, she will, maybe sometimes she goes somewhere, she's coming back, she stops by the market, picks a few things. By the time I come back, I'm opening the door, something is like, I said, my maid is around. So that's also, when she's around, she sets the kitchen the way she wants it. Because we can't be doing, you put, for instance, I'm very minimalist in what I want in my space. So if I am the one in charge of the kitchen, I know how many people are in the house, I know how many plates we need, how many pieces of cutlery, everything like that. When I want to cook, if I'm cooking rice, I want to just open that cupboard, bring out the exact pot that I'm going to use. I don't want to bring out the big pot, then bring out the small one, the small, and so on.
My mother is an Igbo woman.
The larger, the more.
My mom will tell me, as a Bature wife, you should have this and that. And I'm like, okay, mommy, go right ahead. So she will set the whole thing the way she wants it when she's around. And I will happily ignore the kitchen for that period. But if she's away for an extended period, then I'll tell everybody, pack this, pack this, keep it until when she comes back, we bring them out again. So it's just our way of,
dynamics. It's a dynamic.
Yes, just keeping but so she feels respected, she feels welcome. We are all happy when she's around, right? And when she's not around, I make adjustments so that I feel like, okay, I can actually walk in this kitchen rather than be overwhelmed by the volume, amount of stuff we have. So each family has to find what works for them.
Definitely.
Right? Absolutely. Really important.
Yeah. So we can cap it up to say that boundaries do not mean disrespect.
Yes. Boundaries do not mean disrespect. They can be lovingly and respectfully communicated.
Yes.
Right? So that nobody feels like, this one that came and now she wants to scatter our family and stuff like that. No.
In fact, I think boundaries tell people what respect means for you.
Yes.
So,
and when they know it, they know it from the beginning. Yes. I remember someone who said that when she got married, so there were two scenarios. One who got married and was in the name of pleasing the family, doing everything they said and would come back and complain. So, for instance, when you come to the village, then it is the wives that usually cook throughout Christmas holiday. So she went and joined the others and cooked, and each time she'll come back and complain. I'm not used to this. Christmas is and she, And then another one said, from the beginning, I told them, look, I am not the cooking type. Instead of this, I will hire a chef that will cook for everybody in this family so that I can rest. And from the beginning, they started with, this one, she doesn't cook. This one, she doesn't. But they respected her as that. So even when it came to planning burials, big events, they'll just ask her, who are you hiring?
Exactly.
She was true from the beginning. Communicated it clearly. Yes, the initial beef, but eventually everybody settled into accepting her as she was, rather than her being, feeling so bad every time. Someone will say, I went to my mom-in-law's place and then they made me walk. Funny enough, my mom-in-law used to make me walk before the marriage. I think she was just testing.
You will not forget that tomato.
I think she was just testing. Tomatoes! I think she was just testing. That guy, I'm going to, I'm in love. I'm going to visit my sweetheart. And then by the time I sit down, I'm trying to cross my legs, say, Annie, what's happening? We have sauces. I'm trying to wash tomatoes. Then you now go, you think it's one small business. Massive tomatoes all over, like what is happening here? And then I have to say in my mind, I'm like, okay, let's do clean everything, pepper, clean everything, okay.
The things we do for love,
you just come in and you're feeling okay, everything is okay, it's just us, quiet house today. Next thing she's like, I have to go to church, I have to set food on fire, help me finish it. Okay, man. So do that. But that was before the marriage. After the marriage, I was thinking, okay, maybe it's still be like that. After the marriage, by the time we go for Christmas, I'm sleeping, I'm not even opening my eyes. Annie, what do you want first? Is it Quaker oat or custard or pap? That's the first. Do you understand?
The same mother-in-law.
Then by the time I'm trying to finish from that one, okay, what do you want for the main breakfast? Is it fried eggs or is it fried plantain or is it like what? I wasn't lifting a finger. So these things is just how you manage the different seasons to just have peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But just do it respectfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, just like you shared, if we understand boundaries as essential to life, because look, at the end of the day, if you don't set the boundaries, you will eventually be worn out.
Yes.
You know, you are going to then come off as being pretentious. So all along, you were never really right. But if you set the boundaries, look, no matter how uncomfortable the conversation of your boundaries appear initially, you'll be taken for who you are.
Yeah.
And you'll be accepted that, oh, we have an Oyinbo wife. Or this one is, you know, this is, she's psychedelic, you know.
Yeah.
And people will live with it. But when you audit it, you will reach.
An explosion is coming.
Yeah.
It will
Yes.
come. When it will come is what we don't know. And when that explosion happens, the relationship may never be the same again. So
Irreconcilable differences.
so for me, just use the boundaries to love one another. And look, the reality is that as much as your boundaries might look uncomfortable, there are values you bring to the table that they're not going to get in any other person anyway. So if you trust yourself, trust who you are and your own values and what you bring to the table, they will take off your, okay, this one doesn't cook, but she's the daughter-in-law that if I say there's something I need to get done in Lagos, she will get it done for me.
Come on.
Those will be your
count.
advantage.
Your strengths would be
But to
highlighted.
try and
Yeah.
be the jack of all trades,
trades,
you will exhaust yourself in that process. It's not worth it.
Riding on this, I think
Yeah.
that it's also important to note that the best time to know your boundaries and to draw them is when you're single. You don't start that discovery process when you get married. It's too late. It's when you're single. You need to know what works for you, what does not work, what is permissible, and what is a no-no. You know.
Yeah.
So
I think I would like to emphasize emotional intelligence, right? In defining boundaries. Because if I use the story I just shared about washing tomatoes, right? If I was going to be like some people, I'd just be like, no, I didn't. This is not what I came to this marriage, to into this relationship to do. How can you ask me to wash all these tomatoes? Why didn't you hire somebody?
I was just coming to see my boyfriend.
Do you understand? So, but emotional intelligence means I know that we are in Africa. I know
culture.
that our mothers typically want to test somebody that you're bringing to become their daughter-in-law. This might just be it, right? The other part is, well, if my mother gave me this work,
I would do it.
I would do it. So let's just assume that
That's
this
my
is
mother.
Do you understand? So there's the emotional intelligence, but and this is, I usually say first time, second time, coincidence, third time, trend. Do you understand? So if it's just happening, this is the first time it's happening. You won't just quickly label, oh, this woman is trying to treat me, what. Just take it as just data. It's just data. It's the first time.
It's just data. Yeah, something like my office. So do you work there?
It's just data. It's the first time. So you don't start saying, oh, I'm not, and then start having an outburst on just the first request. If you're really not happy about it, then you can have a discussion with the person that you are in love with, whose mother or whose family member is trying to make your life miserable, and they help them to, and they can help you to like put things.
Did you invite
in a
PKB
better
to watch
way.
these tomatoes with you?
No, for real. An African man that he is, he didn't even come out to help.
You would even have failed the test.
Yes, now.
When we-
see, me, I have understanding. If I showed there, I will know. I would have spoiled the distance. I have
Let my
to.
babe pass.
Yes,
Okay.
so that she will pass the test, and then they will know that.
I brought home a good
I
wife.
brought.
Yes.
You got.
All right.
So for me, I would say there was something that she said in passing, but I think for me it's something that is very critical, especially for singles. You have to define for yourself what is permissible vis-a-vis what is non-negotiable. It's very critical, right? So define it for yourself. And you guys do that before you say I do, or else you just be doing everything that you didn't want to do in the first place. We need to be wrapping up, but there's one question they say I should ask.
Okay.
Yes. These people, they keep coming up with new things on this thing. So this is the fun question for this week.
Okay.
For our uncles and aunties that are on the set. By the way, they are looking at you like a young boy, but please tell them how many years you've been married.
Okay, I've been married 17.
Veterans.
17 years. Do you understand? I've been looking at you like young boy. So it's not his marriage is a teenager. By next year now,
his marriage will be able to vote.
Yes.
Like we usually say.
Oh my God, 3 years.
So our marriage is a third line, it's working. You understand? So that's why she can say it's a millennial, Gen Z marriage. So she understands this thing. And it's interesting, because the perspectives that you brought is to let all our Gen Z and our millennials out there to know you cannot do this thing that, I just love him, it's just me and him, and two of us are going to marry. Culture is a big part of the African family.
Yeah,
absolutely. The question: what social media platform would you use to describe your marriage?
I got a heads up, but I'm still thinking. I'll say WhatsApp, actually.
WhatsApp, back?
Yes. Quick, prompt communication. Prompt communication. Communicate about everything. So, yes.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'd say that I think my marriage is a mix of Facebook and Instagram, and reason being that, anyway, coincidentally, they are now all
together.
Yeah.
But reason being that my marriage has had some sort of evolution, right?
Okay.
So in the early years of maybe the first 3 years was honeymoonish. So it was a lot of we were fly.
Power couple.
It was more around
kingdom marriage.
This toddler,
the holidays, the vacays, and all of that. So it was a little bit on the interesting, but life, as we all know, happens. So we got more into more duty-focused marriage. Responsibilities, they stabilized us. So I would say it's just a mix of both of that. But I think I've enjoyed, most of the seasons. And now we are more into that more stable, settled. Everybody sort of knows what we need to do. When my wife cannot do something that she would normally do, can you sort this for me? I do it, and vice versa. So, it's been a balance of both for me.
So, Babi, what would you call? I have an interesting answer.
Well, let me see. So Anima bailed me out, right? Because I've been thinking, which one? And all the other ones, TikTok, whatever, it just wasn't quite it. And I know my marriage can never be X. Never. Okay, that happened. Okay, but I think I like WhatsApp, right?
Okay.
And that's the one my husband and I use a lot to communicate. And in fact, today I was trying to read something to him, and I just kept going back. We already communicated so much today. So I like the fact that, just like you said, communication back and forth really important. But for people like my husband, who like to do status updates like it is a religion, I like that part because I need to know what's up with you. I need to know what's going on in your life. I need to know your high points, your low points. And for us, that's something we do every evening. We sit down, we debrief every single day. Every single day we debrief, regardless of where we are. I have to know what happened with you. He needs to know what happened with me. The joys, the pains, the excitement, everything. We will share it, and it will happen that day. We cannot pass to the next day. It's second nature now.
So it's
right?
like status updates.
Yes. So for me, that's really important. Yes, that's really important. And that means no surprises because we are constantly updating ourselves on what's going on. And where there are issues that need to be addressed, we can catch them early before they become difficult nuts to crack. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
fantastic. My own is millennials. Sorry, Gen Z may not know it. Yahoo chat room.
Was that on the option?
I remember it way back. It does, but I'm not sure. I can't even remember the last time I used it.
No, I'm not sure anybody uses it. But that was where I would say our relationship was founded. Interestingly, I was going through some documents and I saw a chat we did in Yahoo printed. It was like as in the chat before we were dating. That time you were doing your masters abroad. I was in Akure. It was Yahoo chat, and I saw I was like, I've been having this conversation
for
a while. You know, so Yahoo chat room. But I don't know how many people would know it.
Then it was like Lifeline.
Yeah,
and internet was just kind of like becoming strong.
So it was only on overnight browsing.
Like, you have to wait for the right. Oh Lord!
Of course.
It was terrible. Long distance relationship takes commitment. You have to be serious. So when somebody says, "Oh, I'm just traveling to," you stay here, I'll stay there. Check whether they're serious. So if not,
because at the time you were doing this, I mean, not only was Yahoo was probably maybe Yahoo, Gmail were the only known,
and Skype if you were in Europe,
and you also didn't have the advantage of just
phone.
picking your phone.
No. We still had to go
if
to
you could make
cyber cafe,
phone booth for call,
and
cyber
sometimes
cafe
you go to the
for
cyber
email.
No,
cafe,
see, Gen Z's on this call.
they cannot relate,
and
and all the systems are in use.
Yes,
you buy your ticket and you have to
you wait for somebody to finish.
So if you could make those sacrifices, then and I agree with you. Anybody that is invested in you will create time.
Yes.
Will create time.
One of the surest and quickest ways to know this one is just on the surface is whether they go that extra mile. So invest that time. If they can't, don't waste the time. Don't waste it.
If they can't, don't waste the time.
Right.
I wanted to close, but you can close.
Go ahead.
So I believe that this has been an engaging conversation.
Yes, it has.
And you have learnt a thing or two, including some things that you didn't know for the Gen Zs that watch us. Yahoo chat room, go and Google it. I don't know if it's still there. You know. And in fact, I don't even know whether you know phone booth. Google what a phone booth is. Maybe you will know it. But anyway, just to tell you, we're still in the month of October, focus on the family. And next week, we're going to be talking about broken homes, broken patterns. Can you build healthy families if you never saw one? We'll be looking at all those. I have real issues. There was a real case of someone that had this, and we'll look at all of those next week. So, handing over to you.
Yes, so it's been a pleasure on the show today. And thank you to everyone who stayed on up to this time. I know that you got value, okay? And I'd like to use this opportunity to really thank our guests on the show today.
Our uncles and aunties.
to be here.
Yes, for sharing from your lives, sharing those really practical experiences to help everyone. I'm sure you picked one thing here, one thing there that you can arm yourself with, so that when you need to do this, if you're single, you have some tools to work with. And if you're already married, you've gotten some extra tools that you can use to make your experience better and more fruitful. So we will see you next time on Common Sense for Relationships. And remember, like we always say, common sense is not so common.
Bye.